And welcome back. Well, saving for the future is easier said than done for people living paycheck to paycheck. Joining us with some strategies to start saving is millennial money expert and founder of My Fab Finance, Tonya Rapley. Good morning to you, Tonya.
Good morning.
Good morning. Let's talk a little bit about this because I think millennials in general, of course, are kind of in that forefront of a saving stage. But how do we employ like real life saving strategies, whether you're a millennial or just the average American?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people feel like in order to save, they have to go big or go home or just not do it at all, right? But when we look at our lives, there are so many different options to save that we're missing. And a lot of times when I'm working with my clients, one of the things I find are those convenience areas. So those things that you can actually do yourself, but you're paying someone else because of the convenience, whether that's manicures, auto detailing, laundry service, house cleaning, even dining out. That's a convenience. Most of us can prepare our own food, but dining out makes it easier for us. And so by cutting back in some of those areas, you're able to put that money into a savings account. And with the savings account, you know, every little bit matters. But what I also find is that people are saving, but then they're spending. They're not saving for the long term, or they're not saving for the short term even. They're spending it automatically, and that's called reallocation. That's not called saving because you're just putting that money somewhere else instead of putting it in an account where it works for you. So it really is about finding those small opportunities that exist and capitalizing on them.
I love it. And those sound like things that we can all start right now. Those are like money management tips. Do them right now, and they're going to add up and make a big difference.
Absolutely. Every bit counts.
So how can we save though? As I mentioned, you know, it's tough to think about saving when you're paycheck to paycheck. And I think so many of us are. And that's one of the things that we kind of can't fathom where we're going to find even an extra dollar some months.
Yeah, and I know for someone who is in that cycle of living paycheck to paycheck, it can seem hopeless. And one of the things I ask people to ask themselves is, do I have a money management issue or do I have an income issue? A lot of times it's a money management issue. And so the next thing that we do is before you check out at the checkout counter, ask yourself, do I really need this purchase and can I afford to maintain this purchase? A lot of times we can buy something, but we can't afford to maintain it. And that's also what gets us into financial troubles. We can't afford the maintenance. So asking yourself that question, but then also making sure that you're creating good habits and starting with the small habits. So that's automating your savings. A lot of us have subscription services and we're automating our payments to everyone else but ourselves. So you want to try to, speak to your bank, speak to your employer about putting money directly into your savings account. And so you're automating that savings because if a financial emergency happens, you're going to have to bail yourself out.
You know, I haven't heard someone say that before about automating your savings in terms of taking it, putting it directly in there. I know you're working with Green Dot, and I'm wondering if that's what their new account is about, is being able to do that, or how does that work?
Yeah, the new account has great features. And one of the things I love about it, because I often tell people, is you want to make sure you're getting the most out of your money. So this account, the unlimited cashback account, comes with a 3% cashback bonus when you make online or in-app purchases. And most of us are buying things online or in apps. But it also comes with a high yield savings account that gives you 3% interest. And that's one of the most generous interest rates in America. And so by earning money with those purchases that you're already making and then comparing that with the highest interest rate in America, it really does allow your money to add up and work for you.
Do you have to qualify for that? Because I think oftentimes when we find something that gives back like that as an account, you have to qualify for it.
That's the excellent thing about it. You don't have to qualify because it's not a credit account. It's actually a bank account with a debit card. So you don't have to apply. You don't have to do a credit check or anything like that to take advantage of it. And I know a lot of people who are financially stressed, that is one of the things. They can't take advantage of traditional cashback bonuses because they don't qualify based on your credit. But this does not take your credit into account, and you can start saving money almost immediately.
I love it. And I love when you said, is it a money management or an income issue? And oftentimes it's money management. Do you feel that someone who's even making in the $30,000 range can still be saving for their future?
Yeah, I mean, no matter what, and when you get to that range, it's almost you have to save money because you don't really have as many options if something was to happen. And so it's not if an emergency happens, it's when an emergency happens. And am I going to have savings or anything put aside to help with that? So, a lot of people say, I can't afford to save. And I say, actually, you can't afford not to save. So it is starting small, even if it's a small amount, small wins, total up to big wins. You just have to be consistent and committed to putting that money aside regularly.
I love it, Tanya. How can people find out more about that new account too, so they can start saving automatically?
Yeah, so they can find out or learn more about it at greendot.com, and as well as the other features that would benefit anyone who, is or isn't living paycheck to paycheck and just likes to get the most out their money at greendot.com.
Perfect. Appreciate that conversation. Thanks so much, Tonya.
Thank you for having me.
You bet.